Tag team wrestling. Yep, about says it all. Originally released in 1983 in Japan as The Big Pro Wrestling, because, well, Japan, the game was renamed Tag Team Wrestling when it came to US arcades. In 1986, it was later ported to the Amiga, Commodore 64, and the NES, which we'll be focusing on here. I had rented this one as a young'un. I remember being so devastated I had wasted a rental on such a crap game. Look how cool that cover is. Too bad none of those people are actually in the game. Tag Team Wrestling was developed by Technos, of all companies, and published by Data East, who was responsible for a lot of great memorable games in the 80s and early 90s, including Burger Time, Karnoff, Bad Dudes, Captain America and the Avengers, and Trio the Punch. Well, 4 to 5's not bad, I guess. Tag Team Wrestling sounds like an obvious concept, but I think this was the first wrestling video game to feature it. If you look at the popular wrestling games around this time, like Mania and Pro Wrestling on the NES, they only focused on singles matches, so Tag Team Wrestling had a viable hook, at least if things hadn't gone off a cliff. First off, there are only 4 total wrestlers and 2 tag teams in the game, and you can only play one of the teams in 2-player mode. In 1-player mode, you have to be the Ricky Fighters, Ricky and Ultra Machine. I'm guessing Ricky is the one who named them. They're based on Ricky Choshu and Super Strong Machine, both of whom still wrestle occasionally, amazingly enough. Hey, how come no one in the indies has used the name Ricky Fighters? I bet we could see Ricky Morton, Rick Fuller, and Rick Michaels at this year's King of Trios. Oh, right. And who do you fight? The Strong Bads. I repeat, the Strong Bads. First of all, yes, that is where that Strong Bad comes from. So at least somewhat justifies tag team wrestling's existence. Second of all, in other versions they were called Strong and Bad, which, while improvement, is still the worst indie tag name ever. And apparently their individual names are Worley and Mascross? Okay. So how do you play? Glad you asked. Basically you have to punch your opponent, which will bring up a menu of moves. You scroll through said menu to get the move you want and hit A, at which point your wrestler will perform the move, because nothing says high-octane action like stopping and reading. It comes across almost as much a simulator as Micro League Wrestling. If this sounds bad in theory, it's actually handled worse in reality. First of all, if you ever have to scroll through a menu in any other video game, you use a directional pad. Here you have to hit B repeatedly, so it's A to punch, B 0 through 7 times to pick the move, and then A again to implement. It's so clunky. Even worse, Ricky and Machine have basically the same moves, but they jumbled up the menu for both. If you want to do a body slam, it's B twice for Ricky and once for Ultra Machine. If you want to do a backdrop as Ricky, you hit B 3 times. But if you want to do it as Machine, you hit B 6 times. It makes it really hard to get into a rhythm. But just read the menu, you say. Alright, let's check this out. Wait, what's an FH bat? Oh, a flying headbutt. B brick? Oh, backbreaker, how'd I miss that? What the hell is a Tetsu? Oh, ramming a guy's head into the post, sure. What's sad is they do a halfway decent job with the moves. There's some nice variety and everyone has their own special move. Well, kinda. You can only do your own special move to your rival on the other team. So Ricky can use a Scorpion Deathlock, but only on Worley. And Mascross can do an Enzigiri, but only on Ultra Machine. So he can kick one guy in the head and not another, I cannot say. The move animations are laughable. Look how far you can sail across the ring for a drop kick. Suck on that, Jim Brunzell. You'll end up outside the ring a lot, but thankfully you'll float gently down like a feather. And when you get back up, you can bolt over the top rope back into the ring. Between the drop kicks and this, no wonder you can't come off the top rope. You go through the roof of the arena. Huh, it says touch whenever you tag out, just like pro wrestling on the Sega Master System. What a weird thing to copy. You'll notice the strong bads turn red a lot and basically become invincible. The manual indicates this happens when you avoid contact, but it happened to me all the time, like when I knock one of them down. Besides, sometimes you're trying to get into a good position so you can avoid getting hit, but that just makes them invincible and you get beat up anyway. But you can fight back. Apparently in matches 5, 11, 18, and 28, if you can tag a few times without touching your opponent, you can, and I quote, gain ultra strong power lasting until you defeat your opponent. Why does the manual say this? Shouldn't it be a secret? And who picked matches 11, 18, and 28? I'd test this, but I have a hard time getting past match 2. So with 2 whole teams, what do you do in the game? Win championships. Win 3 matches, you get the American Championship. Then the European Championship after 8 matches. 15 wins gets you the World Championship. And 25 earns you the Super Championship. I don't know, 4 tag titles seems a bit much for this Fed. I guess it could have been a tag-centric territory. And you don't get belts, but you do get
A trophy!
and the trophies get bigger. Man, it makes me want to have the same match 25 times. Graphically, the game presents everything you'd want in a wrestling game. You have a nice big ring, commentators, and a cameraman, but everything just looks kind of ugly. And the moving crowd is really distracting, especially when you're outside. The sound effects all sound like they're from another game. If you punch, it sounds like a whip cracking, and you're going to hear that sound a lot. Maybe what's most frustrating is the game actually gets a lot right about tag team wrestling. Matches can change constantly, as you or the computer tag in the fresh man, and you can even call in your partner if you're in a submission hold. Plus, the wrestlers regain health on the apron, and unlike pro wrestling on the Master System, there's no time limit. So matches can go a long time and be really epic. If only they combined a grappling system from Pro Wrestling or Tecmo World Wrestling, a few more wrestlers, and the tag mechanics of this game, it would have been the best wrestling game on the NES. But the goofy controls and animations turn this one into a punchline. Oh well. Till next time, thanks for watching. And remember, a winner is you.
But